Chariots of the Gods will continue right here on ABC. From Stonehenge in England to hundreds of other sites throughout Europe, Asia, and the Americas, there are ancient structures made from giant stones called megaliths. One of the most impressive megalithic sites in the world is in the Brittany region of France near the town of Carnac. Eric von Daniken has spent years investigating this silent stone monument to our mysterious past. He believes these stones could not have been moved and arranged by primitive man without the help from teachers from above.
At least 7,000 years ago, our ancestors created thousands and thousands of stones, and they arranged them in lines, straight lines for miles and miles.
They loom like giant soldiers marching in formation to the sea. These are the megaliths of Carnac in France.
Now this is the largest megalith ever moved in ancient Europe. It's man-made, cut, as you can see. Once the whole piece was over 60 feet, and its weight was 350 tons.
If these giant stones were moved and arranged 7,000 years ago, they would be among the oldest creations on the planet. But were they created by human beings? At that time in human history, our ancestors were still hunter-gatherers, struggling daily for survival. Their tools were primitive, and the wheel had not yet been invented. How were these thousands of stones transported, and what was their purpose?
Until today, archaeology has no answer for this mystery. Well, since we have computer technology, and since we know how to fly, we might have an answer.
Eric von Daniken reveals his theory that based on aerial reconnaissance, the builders of these alignments had a sophisticated understanding of geometry, triangulation, and the Pythagorean theorem. But these stones were arranged 4,000 years or more before the Greeks supposedly invented geometry. Eric von Daniken wonders who taught the megalithic builders their math lessons. He believes extraterrestrials came to Earth and encoded a message in the stones of Carnac. What is this message? Could these megaliths point to a place in the heavens where the builders live? We just don't know, yet. Well, what do you mean, yet?
We know for sure that there is geometry. We have the pattern, we have Pythagorean triangles, but we don't know the message behind it. Maybe we have to wait until the extraterrestrials come back.
Well, you think they're gonna come back?
They promised to come back. You know, what's 3,000 years in human history? Compared to outer space, it's nothing. They promised to come back, they will return.
At the bottom of the world, in a land frozen in a perpetual ice age, von Daniken believes there's more startling evidence that beings from another world left their mark on the ancients. In 1531, Orontes Phineas drew this map of Antarctica. But Antarctica supposedly wasn't discovered until about 250 years later in 1773. How could Orontes Phineas map a continent which didn't officially exist?
There's a huge mystery here which scholars are not addressing, and it cannot be ascribed to coincidence.
What is even more mysterious than Phineas knowing about a continent that hadn't been discovered is that Phineas appears to know what Antarctica looked like before it was covered with ice. And that was 125,000 years ago. How did he know the continent's shape before it was frozen under miles of ice?
We've only known how the subglacial topography of Antarctica looks since the 1950s, when seismic surveys were taken across the ice cap.
We are left to consider profound questions. questions which force us to re-examine our ancient history. Eric von Daniken believes Urantus Phineas drew his map based on even older source maps created by extraterrestrials. Only visitors from the sky, Von Daniken maintains, had the sophisticated technology necessary to peer through the ice to chart the landmass below. We don't know, but this map could be evidence that our planet was once surveyed from the air by beings from another world. If extraterrestrials gave these maps to humanity, the question arises, what other kinds of advanced technology may have been handed down to us from sophisticated space travelers? Eric von Daniken believes these teachers from beyond may have taught the ancient Egyptians the secret of electricity thousands of years before it was discovered by modern man.
This is the temple of Osiris in Abydos, in Central Egypt. One of the most mysterious gifts has come down from heaven to earth. It is the so-called jet pillar. It has been suggested that it could be a symbol of fertility, or maybe a symbol of eternity, but also a symbol of power. What power? Do they maybe mean electricity?
Eric believes the jet pillar could have been used as some kind of electrical insulator, like you see at the top of modern power poles. But did the Egyptians have a way to generate electricity in the first place? According to von Daniken, a strange metal-lined vessel was found not far from central Egypt. From the outside, this exact replica looks like an ordinary clay jar. But when von Daniken pours in a common acidic liquid, like vinegar, this strange jar generates electricity like a battery. Now von Daniken searches for the ways that the ancient Egyptians might have used this electricity. In the basement of the Temple of Dendera in southern Egypt, his investigation uncovers a possible answer.
In this basement, there were different crypts, and in one of these crypts, we have fantastic reliefs on the wall.
Look closely. Von Daniken sees something that may look like a cord which leads to a socket. Attached to the socket might be some kind of filament, and on the outside is a transparent bubble. Could this be an image of an ancient Egyptian light bulb? Von Daniken and his associates decided to test this hypothesis in the laboratory.
We made a model of this electric bulb exactly in the same measurement. Would it work? Would it function? And it functioned. It works.
If, as Eric von Daniken believes, extraterrestrials brought light to the temples and crypts of ancient Egypt, did a possible close encounter in South America cause some darker consequences? What you're about to see might disturb you.
We are here in the Museum of Ica in Peru. This is one of the deformed skulls found in this area. Inca and pre-Inca tribes used the soft bones of their babies. They pressed it together with wood and leather. I ask myself, why have societies done this torture to their children? I think they adored someone. They copied someone. They wanted to be similar, like some of their teachers from above.
Up next on Eric von Daniken's Chariots of the Gods, the mysteries continue. A perfectly aligned pyramid comes alive. Did the builders of this Mayan miracle have help? Teachers from the sky? Plus, giant stone blocks cut with laser-like precision, thousands of years ago. Eric von Daniken asks, where did this technology come from?